Hope I am audible. Uh,
Yes, yeah.
so I'm starting the slideshow. So good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is fine in this COVID situation. Today I'm going to deliver you all a bit of my knowledge about the 12th SDG, uh, based on which we have made this webinar. The topic of this webinar is innovative approach of water conservation and recycling. So now we will discuss something about SDG. SDG, the full form is Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, the Sustainable Development Goals, which is on which is we are just uh, aiming on the 12th goal here. So this 12th goal uh, ensures about the sustainable consumption and production patterns. And relating to this, we would like to give some ideas out regarding rainwater harvesting and how can we utilize it in further production and normal usages. Well, the Sustainable Development Goal (SDG) is also known as the Global Goals. Were adopted. These were adopted by the United Nations, the UN, in 2015, probably. Yeah, as a universal call to action to end poverty. Now, to protect the planet and ensure that by uh, 2030 all people enjoy peace and prosperity. There are all total 17 SDGs as we know, and we are working upon the 12th one. Uh, they recognize that the action in one area will affect outcomes in others, and that development must balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. Well, countries have committed to prioritize progress for those who were uh, furthest behind. The SDGs are designed to end poverty, hunger, AIDS, and discrimination against women and girls. Well, the creativity, know-how, technology, and financial resources from all of society is necessary to achieve the SDGs in every context. So now I hope you all see that the 12th goal in this case ensures that there should be a sustainable consumption and production pattern. You can see this logo here. Ensure this is the logo, responsible consumption and protection, and these are all those points I have explained right now. So proceeding to the next slide. So why should we conserve water? Conserving water is important for some very basic reasons. Water is among the essential commodities that support life. Water is required for drinking by all life forms. Also, it is needed to keep some necessary hygiene such as washing and cleaning, which we all are doing in this COVID situation, you know. Water is, we are all washing hands from coming out after coming home from outside and using the soap to wash hands. So how do we use this thing? Uh, this soap? We have to apply some water, right, from the leather. So there is some hygiene behind it, hygiene like reasons. Cooking also requires water in substantial quantities. Apart from the human requirements, all form of life depend on water. At least for drinking purposes, it is after all a life sustaining element, you know. So yet with the given levels of pollution, the amount of water that can be directly consumed is going down. Hello, is the slide
Yes,
visible
we are getting.
properly?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
visible, visible. Okay, continue.
No, no, the change of the slide.
No, slide,
No,
you,
your first slide. It's just showing your
first
first
slide is
slide.
there.
Put it into your, I mean, slideshow motion.
Now, okay.
Don't put it in total.
Okay, I'm letting it like this. So basically, what I explained before the about the logo was this one. Uh, this is this is ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns. So this is toward the goal. I explained. So why should we conserve water? I was telling. Now, yet with the given levels of pollution, the amount of water that can be directly consumed is going down drastically, most due to pollution facing the water bodies, mostly due to the pollution facing the water bodies, and such as you can see this chemical wastes being poured into the rivers, which are even going to the sea and all things. However, seawater is not at all eligible for the use because uh, it costs more to purify. So this brings us an urgent issue of conserving the water. After all, it is the only way to make water available for household use, agricultural and commercial purposes. So water harvesting in a broad sense is defined as the collection of runoffs for its productive use. It is possible to harvest rainwater from roofs and ground surfaces, or from intermittent or ephemeral streams. A variety of methods of water harvesting are available uh, available here. So basically, the efficient use of harvested water includes the growth of provisions for domestic and livestock feed, the supply of crops, and processing of food and trees, and the construction of water bodies for the cultivation of fish and ducks. Well, water harvesting incorporates different methods or activities uh, focused on the focused on just a minute. So yeah, where I was yeah. So water harvesting incorporates different methods or activities focused on the use of runoff from uncropped areas with the harvested water, right? So in addition, it is also important to store water for irrigation, domestic or livestock use. But the use of harvested water for crop production is often given priority. In general, in arid and semi-arid areas where droughts occur very frequently and irrigation is not feasible, water harvesting is found to be very suitable. The next slide is about rainwater harvesting right now. You can see this slide right now. So you can also see these pictures here, which I have included. This, and this. These are all mechanisms I have shown here. The rainwater harvesting scheme, a brainchild of Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha, was launched in 2001. You know, this 2001 in Tamil Nadu, Miss Jayalalitha uh, was launched in was launching a scheme of water harvesting in 2001 in a bid to regenerate water sources and improve groundwater levels in the part southern state, obviously. Rain is a principal source of water which augments soil moisture. Groundwater and surface flows, and etc. etc. These things. So agricultural and several of other economic activities in arid regions or areas depends on rain. Rainfall in arid areas is of consecutive nature and usually occurs for a shorter duration at a very high intensity, generating high runoff in response of even very little rainfall. Runoff can be very high, particularly in urban areas where buildings and roads form good catchment for runoff generation. So as you can see, basically what I mean by this is just that you can see this example of Calcutta here at Salt Lake. You can see flooded roadways and those things during the rainy seasons. So what is happening is we can use the we are planning to use this flooded rainwater uh, to be stored and used properly after purification, right? So uh, the so in the so runoff can be very high, particularly in urban areas. In that case, right? The runoff from a particular area depends on the rainfall intensity and catchment characteristics like size, shape, surface roughness, and water absorbing capacity and slope, etc. etc. You can see this roads do have a curvature. This is always provided, obviously due to scientific reasons like centrifugal forces and all, but also the curvature is provided to drain the pavement, right? So the if the water falls on the pavement, it just slides off the pavement and falls on the ground, the soil, so and gets absorbed. So how about using this water by storing it? Let us think about storing it in some container which is just kept this beneath this shoulder of the road. So we can provide openings uh, on and along the along the side of the roads, so that the water goes and just enters the container. So let us talk about some availability and redistribution. What is the degree of availability of rainfall? Right. So availability and distribution of available water assume prime importance in sustainable development of arid regions, which if available adequately can support intensive biotic population. The main difficulty associated with the water resource planning and management is due to inherent degree of variability associated with the rainfall. Therefore, rainwater harvesting during rainy season and subsequent use of use in lean period can substantially reduce the risk associated with activities requiring water. Rainwater harvesting, which is conscious collection and storage of rainwater to cater to the demands of water for drinking, domestic and irrigation purposes, meet about 35% demand of drinking water, and also of orchids in hot arid zones through rainwater harvesting. We can use tankas for that. Tankas will be explained later on. Our member Sumit will be explaining the same. Uh, so the improved Tanka designs developed and demonstrated by the Central Arid Zone Research Institute, CAZRI, have got wide acceptability in the region. Runoff coefficient is now the ratio of runoff to rainfall for a given catchment, and depends on rainfall and the catchment characteristics. Various studies have been conducted by this Central Arid Zone Research Institute, so-called CAZRI, uh, and others to estimate the runoff percentage. So these studies suggest that the average runoff generation from arid Rajasthan is between 1 and 15% of rainfall, because most of the terrain is sandy. However, due to uh, due to uh, the spatial variations in rainfall and terrain type, deviations from this range are expected in uh, 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 are expected actually in this range very highly actually. So in less than 200 mm rainfall zone, the dominantly interdunal area, undistributed conditions, under undistributed conditions with adequate vegetation cover, can generate 10 to 15% runoff. The rocky or gravelly surfaces, on the other hand, can generate between 20 to 25. Well, in 200 to 400 rainfall zone, the micro catchments in the plains with sandy loam in loamy sand can generate as much as 30 to 40%, and larger catchments can generate between 15 to 20%. The rocky gravelly surface in this zone can generate between 20 and 30% of rainfall as runoff. These are some of the data I remember right now. So Tanka. Now we are moving on to this topic, which our team member Sumit will be explaining to you very well. So Sumit, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So coming to Tankas, what is Tanka? First question in mind will be this only, what is Tanka? So a tanka is a usually circular or rectangular in shape. The circular tanka is the most economical form of the structure and in found in the most stable pressure exerted by the water is uniform in radical pressure in all directions in the diametrical plane at the right angle to the curved surface. In simple words, it can be said ki the tanka can store about 1000 liters to 5 lakh liters of the water, rainwater, for emergency purposes or the for normal drinking purposes or for normal use. So rainwater harvesting is an underground system locally known as tanka. It is commonly practiced in Rajasthan, most of the parts of Rajasthan, and now from 2001 it is being practiced in southern part of India also. So coming to the Rajasthan, the history of the Marwar reveals that the rainwater harvesting practice is in the form of bauris and talabs, which was much earlier than tankas. There was some king named Rao Jodhaji who constructed it near Jodhpur fort during 1520 AD, and the first known construction of tanka in this region was during the 1607 AD by Raja Suru Singh ji, by Raja Sur Singh ji. So various type of tankas from rectangular to circular shape in the capacity ranging from, as I said, from 1000 liter to 5 lakh liters are prevalent in this region. The availability of water in these tankas was usually around the year of drinking purposes for the whole family. Heading towards the benefits of it, the next slide. So
Okay.
the benefits of having tankas is like water is used up to the fast rate, and in the end people demand somewhat more durable source of water. Rainwater harvesting in Tanka offers the advantage of private ownership without losing economics of size. This means that for drinking needs, these are based on individual household facilities. However, if such facility is provided on a community basis, it needs the cooperation of all concerned to operate it in a familiar way as they operate the wells in villages. The benefits of tankas are usually like time saving, particularly for women who fetch the particularly for women and girls, and for the peoples who fetch water in village areas. It improves health of productive workers, benefits consumer in terms of taste, cleanliness, and quality, etc. It improves self-reliance of the rural people. Uh, it is cheaper. It is cheaper alternative to a much more costly piped water supply scheme, which we use in urban areas. The tankas have been built by using cement concrete in the flooring and in the construction of the circular walls. So this type of material ensures that the lifespan of these tankas are 10 to 15 years. So it's much effective and much cheaper if we switch to tankas. In nature, water is filtered through layers of soil and sand rock and other natural material like leaves. Plus there are lots of handy machineries available to filter out water in tankas if we use it for drinking, cooking, or bathing purposes. So coming to the idea behind it is simple. Ki stopped uh, how we stopped to this topic, having why we choose tankas. So rainwater is collected when it falls on the earth, stored and utilized at a later point. It can be purified and converted into drinking water, used for daily applications, and even utilized in larger scale in industries also. So, in short, rainwater harvesting is a process or technique of collecting, filtering, storing, and using rainwater for irrigation and various other purposes. The system is considerably easy to maintain since they are not utilized for drinking and cooking or other sensitive use. This means that they will not need any installation for purification, which is highly expensive. It is cost effective because it provides high quality of water and reduce the dependence of wells. We don't have to depend on wells. Plus, it helps to reduce the soil erosion as by capturing rainwater, the flow of storm water is reduced, which can also prevent urban flooding, which Soham talked about having the West Bengal Kolkata scenes. If water is not collected efficiently, it could have resulted in serious soil erosion and flooding around the house. So now coming to the next slide, how much water we need technically versus economic efficiency. So it is simple to calculate the annual water needs of the people. Let's say a family consists of 6 persons. A minimum per capita per day requirement of is 7 liter of water, which is usually covered by the villagers to bear the minimum that one has to jive without distress. Clearly, a family needs 1.302 meter cube of water per month and requires 15.624 meter cube or say 16 meter cube of minimum storage to survive throughout the year solely using Tanka water. So, however, in this case of unusual consumption of drinking water of say 14 liter per capita per day during the summer period of 4 months, an additional storage of 5 meter cube of water has been provided in the storage of capacity of Tanka. Therefore, it may be optimal project to erect Tankas of not less than 21 meter cube in the volume through the unit cost of construction of tankas. Such capacity is like nearly 1.5 times greater than tankas of larger capacities. So we can say 200 meter cube, yet economizing on the construction will be will be false economy if it leads to unproductive use of water. So generally, people use more water as it becomes more available, and the maintenance and aftercare is very low in tankas. Like at least once in a year, cleaning of tanka, ramming of its catchment, and painting of its inlets and outlets is must for keeping the tanka in good condition. Also, if we distill the tanka, matlab I, uh, distillizing the word, also distillizing the tanka is necessary, maybe taken before the onset of the monsoon, like periodically if you use oxidizing agent like potassium permanganate. It will prevent the growth of microscopic organism and development of bad taste, odor, and color of the water. Plus, alum helps in the settling of the dirt in suspension. So, coming to the uses of rainwater harvesting, uh, which follows like drinking, cooking, washing vegetable, agriculture purposes, bathing and flushing, garden, irrigation purposes. We can use it in villages, plus lawns, water for pets, wildlife, livestock, pools and other water bodies, washing vehicles and equipment, fire protection, composing. So here I wind up my from my side and heading towards the advantages portion, which will be covered by Sneha.
Thank you, Sumit. So yes, that next slide is all about the advantages of rainwater harvesting. So the first one is easy to maintain. Utilizing the rainwater harvesting system provides certain advantages to the community. Yes, obviously. First of all, harvesting rainwater allows us to utilize an energy resources better. It is essential to do so since drinking water is not easily renewable, and it helps in reducing wastages. System for collections of rainwater are based on simply technologies. The overall cost of their installations and operations are much lesser than that of water purifying or pumping systems. Maintenance require little time and energy. The result of collection of the water that can be used substantial and waste even without purification. The second one is independent water supply. Rainwater harvesting provides an independent water supply where cleaning or water is costly or say difficult to come by. Rainwater harvesting is a critical source of clean water and increase the quantity of potable drinking water available. In developed countries, like rainwater is often harvested to use as a supplemental source of water rather than the main course. Still, the harvesting of rainwater can be decreased overall uses level. The third one is about reducing water bills. Water collected in the rainwater harvesting system can be put to use for several non-drinking functions as well. For many families and say small businesses, this lead to a large reduction in their utility bill. On an industrial scale, harvesting rainwater can provide the needed amounts of water for many operations to take place smoothly without having to deplete the nearby water sources. After that, the fourth one is suitable for irrigations. As a matter of fact, there is a little requirement for building new infrastructures for rainwater harvesting system. Most rooftops act as a workable catchment area which can be linked to the harvesting system. This also lessens the impact on the environment by reducing the use of fuel-based machines. Rainwater is free from many chemicals found in a groundwater and making it suitable for irrigation and watering gardens. In fact, storing large reservoirs of a harvested water is a great idea for areas where forest fires and bush fires are commonly or say during summer months. The fifth one is reduces demand on a groundwater. With an increase in a population, the demand for water is also continuously increasing. This result is that many residential colonies and industries are extracting groundwater to fulfill their daily demands. This has led to the depletion of a ground layer which has gone to the significantly low level in some area where there is a huge water scarcity. Rainwater harvesting enables groundwater enables to further sustain rather than deplete it. And after that, this sixth one, supplemental in droughts. Many countries, especially those with arid environments, use rainwater harvesting as a cheap and reliable source of clean water. Where drought occurs, rainwater harvested in the past month can be used. In arid environments, ridges of the soil are constructed to trap and prevent rainwater from running down hills and slopes and enhance irrigations. Even in the period of low rainfall or enough water is collected for crops to grow. Water can be collected from roofs and say dams, ponds, and can be constructed to hold a large quantities of rainwater so that even on days with little or say no water occurs, enough water is available to irrigate crops. After that, it comes reduces floods and soil erosions. During the rainy season, rainwater is collected in a large scale tanks, which also help in reducing floods in some low-lying areas. Apart from this, it also helps in reducing soil erosions and the contamination of surface water with pesticides and fertilizers from rainwater runoff, which result in cleaner lakes and ponds. Rainwater for drinking purpose. Rainwater keeps environment green and conducive to life, and rainwater is also independent for the pollutant found in the groundwater. If rainwater is properly harvested with the right size system, we can say, and equipment, it can be used for drinking purpose also. The last one about the several non-drinking purpose. Rainwater, when collected, can be used for several non-drinking purposes also, like including cooking, bath, flushing toilets, washing clothes, utensils, watering gardens, washing, etc. It is unnecessary to use pure drinking water if we all need to use it for some other purpose rather than drinking. It can also be used for farming and in industries that require a large amount of water for production purposes or say processes. Next slide. Now it comes to the last part, conclusion. So we as a human being have a history of not looking after our planet's water supplies. We have wasted water and contaminated the valuable water that we do have. Apart from the human requirements, all forms of life depend on the water, at least for drinking purpose. It it is after all a life sustaining element. So, as it is a great importance to the human and must for existence, therefore, its usage and should be checked to prevent wastages. It is currently an important issue facing by human beings. The availability of potable water for drinking and consumption is going down gradually where we face with the possibility of having a little or no water available in nature for direct consumption. So our basically main aim is to say that not a single institution is enough to show that responses against it or say to protect or preserve the water. There are so many NGOs and municipal authorities are already there and doing very good job for water conservation, but government and big brands need to get on board too. Also, the private should take action against it. So that's all from our side. Thank you.
Okay.
So
So,
before ending the slide, I would like to suggest you to save water in such a way, and these are some examples I can show you about the tankas, and this is not tanka. This is a rainwater harvesting tank. It is the roof. The water is flowing down from the roof and flowing through the pipes and just getting filtered and entering the tank. Here it is getting stored. So we can use uh, such kinds of arrangements, equipments, and this you can even make much more innovations available in this new world, and then I hope just a minute. So
Okay.
I hope all are are able to understand the what we want to convey to you as a message, and thus we hope you all to conserve this water coming via rain. Even rainwater is also a very easy way to conserve, and rather we should say, rather than the cost of purification, it's much more easily we are getting that purified water out of rain if we directly store it, right? And it's cost effective even. So thank you. This that's from our side. If you have understood, you can respond.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, Soham.
Nice, nice
Before
presentation.
Krishnan, I'll just take a minute, then you can take it over.
Yes, yes,
Uh, uh,
yes, ma'am.
it is a request to everybody. For number one is that if you have any queries, it's these three persons are here to give answer to your queries. We would be organizing many more such sessions in which I request you guys to come forward yourselves, and you can contact Krishnan sir and Samik sir for any topic that you feel like that it will be helping you, and you would like to display it in front of all the fellow students. So we are trying to promote this so that there is a hesitation in you guys for presentation, so that at least you can be have a practice of that. You will be, if you are doing certain thing goods, others can also come up with various ideas. I can give you an example as to how to decide upon the topic, and that is that you all of you are having ESD projects. So you can come up with anything and you can present over here and say, okay, this is my brilliant idea. And not only single, you can three, four persons can take 10 minutes each, and you can come up with various other presentations also. I would request that all of you, I would urge all of you start participating in this every Friday, first Friday of every month. We will be having this session. We have other things also lined up, but for the student thing, that means the students are going to present, that we'll have on the first Monday, first Friday of every month. Then we have for the second and third and fourth Fridays also some other things lined up. But I would want you to be promoted above. Come up with anything. There's nothing to be hesitant, and make it interesting for others. Just don't read out from the PPTs because it becomes boring. So you can use YouTube, you can use some other things and show your whatever information you want to convey. Yeah, Krishnan, take over, and if anybody has any queries, you can raise up.
Yes. If you have any query, ask one by one, and after that we will end this session.
You can post the questions in the chat box. I am here to answer the same. Even I would suggest there are such materials coming nowadays, like it can be fitted in the nozzle of every tap, and what happens is the droplets are converted into spray, are splitted, and those are released as spray, so that there is efficient consumption of water. So that's
Yeah,
a very good idea, I think, to use water. Uh,
yeah. Okay. So excellent presentation by all of you. Okay, so I hope we have learned a lot from your presentation. Okay, so thank you, Soham, Sumit, and Sneha. Okay, so now we are ending the session. Okay, so thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you all.